Lyle has a great question. I love your question, Lyle. Will Trump take the stand? This is actually a question for Mary as well. Joyce, I'm going to start with you quickly. We're going to do like a lightning round on this question. For those of you tuning in, question from Lyle. Will Trump take the stand? I will let you guys know. Here's the basis for the analysis. Mershon tells the lawyers in court, if defense counsel tells the jurors that Trump might not testify, they cannot tell them how that decision might be made or why. If Trump is going to testify, then defense counsel can say he is expected to testify in opening statements, meaning during openings, they can tell the jury he's expected to testify. But if Trump does not plan to testify, the opening statements may not characterize what he would have said if he had taken the stand. Joyce, to you first. What are the odds that somebody like Donald Trump is going to take the stand, knowing that this is a criminal trial and not a civil trial?
The decision about whether to testify belongs to the client, not to the lawyers. Donald Trump is the wild card here. If I'm one of his defense lawyers, I'm telling him, you cannot take the witness stand. You will commit perjury. You will turn off the jury. No good deed goes unpunished here. I think the odds are pretty good that Trump, who always thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, will want to testify anyhow.
Ooh, Charles, agree or disagree with Joyce's analysis?
I agree that he wants to testify. I don't think we're going to see it happen. I do think that because of the stakes here, this is not a civil trial where he can avoid paying out. He's very good at that. I think that the stakes of him actually having to face a criminal record and the conviction and what that could mean, and the fact that he's not in control over what a judge would sentence him to, and that could ultimately be prison, might be enough to allow his attorneys to convince him to make the decision not to testify. I think he knows better. I really do. The one thing that I will say, and this is a very important caveat, Katie and everyone else, is that you're talking about Donald Trump, the candidate, at the same time you're talking about Donald Trump, the defendant. And with this trial, Donald Trump, the defendant, has to be in court for 6 weeks, which means that Donald Trump, the candidate, is not going to be able to campaign ostensibly for 6 weeks. The significance of that is he does not have the space or platform as he usually does with respect to his rallies and everything else to go out and spew his venom with respect to his own narrative. Even when it comes to the situation as to why he's on trial right now, that is being narrated by the other witnesses, not by him. Mm-hmm. So he has to sit there boiling for 6 weeks and listen to other people from the prosecution tell a story or their version of the truth and do nothing. I don't know that he's going to be able to sit back and allow that to happen. But here's the very interesting thing about that really quickly is that it's such a very striking paradox, because he'll go on the courthouse steps and he will pontificate to anyone who will listen to him about what a victim he is, how crooked a process this is. But the one place that he can go to actually clear his name, to tell his story, to narrate his own series of events around this, is the one place he's not going to go, which is on, at the witness stand under oath, under penalty of perjury. That's what we're not going to see.
But Mary, you know him better than anyone that's sitting here having this conversation, right, on any airwaves right now. Can he, as in Donald Trump, get out of his own way and make a smart decision and not let his ego dictate that he must take the stand to basically defend himself in this quote unquote witch hunt?
Yeah, in the past, we've seen him able to pull himself back from the brink. He said he would testify. He never does. This is a very different circumstance here. First of all, as Charles just pointed out, he's going to have to sit there and take it for weeks on end. This is not going to set well with him. He's going to feel immense pressure to take back control, even though he knows, of course, that he did the things that he's alleged to have done. So I think we're going to see clues in his behavior as we go. And it also depends on if he thinks that spitting in the hallway or spitting on the courthouse steps is enough to release that pressure. Because I think at the end of the day, he does think that he has more more of an ability to do that than most people, and he may be right. And he's also quite good at convincing the people who are willing to believe him anyway, that the system is so corrupt that if he did testify, his words would have been twisted. It wouldn't have been fair. He'll play the victim. So if he doesn't testify, that's what we're going to see. How could he possibly testify that would be legitimizing this inherently illegitimate process that he himself has been undermining for months and months already? So it's going to be a very fascinating tension between the impulses that Joyce pointed to and the sense of self-preservation, which quite honestly, I think is deteriorating as the days pass.
Hey everyone, MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.